The Eternaut is an intriguing post-apocalyptic romp, based on the graphic novel sporting the same name. It's gritty, tense, and chock full of memorable moments across its runtime. Set deep in the heart of Argentina, this is an authentic slice of South American dystopian fiction, making for a riveting watch throughout. If you finish watching this one and are looking for alternate picks, we've combed through the archives and saved you the hassle with our top 10 picks that aren't spin-offs or set in the same universe. As always, let us know your favourites in the comments and which of these you've watched. So without further ado, let's start the countdown. An unknown virus pandemic kills more than 90% of the world's population. Those immune must strive to survive and overcome the difficulties of this new world order. Sound familiar? Well, this is a premise for Survivors, a BBC drama about the end of the world. The characters are well written throughout, the pacing is nicely balanced, and the relatively easy 12-episode runtime, which is split into 6 episodes a season, makes this an easy show to get into and a difficult one to put down. Orphan Black creator Graham Manson mans the engines of this serial adaptation of the movie sporting the same name. With the new crew on board, this 1001 carriage train utilises elements of a whodunit early on before evolving and growing into something more action orientated and exciting as the seasons progress. The story takes place in a frigid post-apocalyptic wasteland, and at the centre of this conflict lies the same hierarchical class issues as the source material, teasing a possible rebellion on the horizon. With biting winds and an icy chill that can freeze you in an instant, the only sanctuary comes in the form of a high-speed train circling the globe. With the train segmented into different classes, the tailies and third class are fed scraps and given little light or hope. By comparison, the bright, lavish carriages in first class play host to powerful and influential men and women living the high life. Naturally, something has to give, and when it does, this makes for a very easy recommendation. If thematic depth is your jam, The Leftovers is definitely worth checking out. Running for 3 seasons, the story picks up just after a global event called the Sudden Departure. This inexplicable event sees the disappearance of 140 million people, or 2% of the world's population to be precise. Following that, mainstream religions decline, which paves way for a number of cults to emerge. The most notable among them is the Guilty Remnant. The story only grows more intriguing and interesting over time as thematic questions come to the foreground. However, to give much more away about this would be a disservice to the series, but if you haven't already, you should definitely add The Leftovers to your watch list. The Last Ship is a surprisingly underrated hit. It's a show that tackles an outbreak that decimates most of the world's population, but does so from within the confines of a naval destroyer out at sea. While the crew do dock at various locations, there's an intriguing premise at work here that feels suitably claustrophobic for parts of its multi-season run. Split across 5 seasons in total, The Last Ship does feel like it runs out of steam after a season 3, but somehow manages to deliver something wholly fresh and exciting in the midst of a sea of other outbreak-related shows. To the Lake feels like a gripping mashup between the latter half of 28 Days Later and the tense survivalist tone of The Walking Dead. Set against the backdrop of a bleak, unforgiving dystopian world, the series balances human drama and intense survival stakes. To the Lake focuses a lot on character-driven storytelling, and instead of relying solely on action or horror, the series instead digs deep into the human psyche, exploring how paranoia, selfishness, and desperation emerge when civilization collapses. The characters are nicely developed, each carrying their own baggage and moral struggles, and it's this careful exploration that makes the tension feel so raw and relatable. Unlike many post-apocalyptic dramas that lean heavily into relentless dread, To the Lake manages to strike a careful balance, maintaining a controlled dose of unease without ever tipping into melodrama. It's a refreshingly thoughtful approach to the genre, offering a grim yet compelling commentary on human nature when survival is on the line. Falling Skies is basically Walking Dead with aliens. There's plenty of drama, action and tense segments interspersed across the 5 seasons, but do be aware the season finale at the end of 5 is considered to be pretty bad. The tale centres on survivors of an alien attack on Earth who gather together to fight for their lives and fight back against the invaders. There's plenty of interpersonal drama along the way, relationship issues and all that jazz, alongside the actual fight against the aliens. If you're looking for something that has a similar up and down vibe and characters you can get behind, this one is certainly worth checking out. Silo tells the story of the last 10,000 people on Earth, living within a massive, mile-deep underground structure known as the Silo. This enormous bunker is designed to protect its inhabitants from the toxic and deadly world outside. However, no one truly knows when or why the Silo was built, and any attempts to uncover the truth are met with fatal consequences. Based on the Wall trilogy written by Hugh Howey, the premise is undeniably intriguing, blending elements of mystery, dystopian survival, and conspiracy. The show's pacing is deliberate, allowing the tension to simmer while immersing viewers in the eerie claustrophobic atmosphere of life underground. There's a palpable sense of unease throughout, as every character seems to be hiding something, and the deeper truths about the Silo remain tantalizingly out of reach. With the backing of Apple TV Plus's lavish production and a solid narrative foundation, Silo has more than enough in the tank to make for an easy recommendation. Belgium's first Netflix original, Into the Night, is a tense and fast-paced sci-fi thriller. The series is the perfect binge watch thanks to its intriguing premise and shorter episodes. The story kicks off with a cataclysmic event. Radiation from the sun triggers a global disaster, wiping out life on Earth during daylight hours. To survive, a group of passengers on an overnight flight from Brussels must stay ahead of the sun's deadly rays, racing from city to city while keeping in the cover of night. The show centers around this intense survival scenario as the group of passengers, who are now forced to work together, face countless obstacles while desperately fleeing the lethal daylight. This is a great sci-fi thriller with plenty of twists and turns, guaranteed to keep you on the edge of your seat, just like the survivors during their nail-biting journey. Black Summer is an interesting take on the downfall of humanity, sticking much closer to the days following the infection rather than cutting forward to a bleak post-apocalyptic wasteland straight away. The story follows pockets of different survivors, just trying to make it out alive while the zombie threat remains a constant obstacle. Later seasons do include more human factions and drama though, but regardless, Black Summer maintains a consistent danger throughout, and its large ensemble of characters are constantly thwarted by intelligent, fast zombies. There's an extremely tense atmosphere gripping most of the season, and while many people remain torn over this one, we were definitely big fans of this. The Rain is a decent, albeit somewhat underwhelming, post-apocalyptic series. The premise is fascinating though, and there's an undeniable charm with this that'll keep you watching through to the bitter end. The story here centres on siblings Rasmus and Simone, who find their world turned upside down when their father snatches them up from school and urgently tells them there's a deadly virus lurking in the clouds above. When it starts raining, it'll kill anyone caught outside. Taking refuge in an underground bunker and left alone for 6 years, the children grow into teenagers before venturing out into the new post-apocalyptic world they're faced with. The Rain's concept and world building are generally very good, although amusingly for a country that has over 170 days of rainfall, there's a surprising lack of it throughout the 3 seasons. Still, this is one of the rare Netflix originals that actually does have a conclusive ending. So there we have it, our 10 TV show alternatives to watch when you finish watching The Eternaut. So what did you think of our picks? Do you agree? Are there any notable omissions? Or do you think we're way off the mark? Either way, let us know in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.